Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Anya. We are gonna just have a little chit chat with you today. I decided that I want to make a video about some pros and cons of living in Belgrade. I've been living in Belgrade for the past 8 months, which is not a lot, I guess, and also like I haven't been going through some document preparing or some medicine questions or anything else like that. I've been just living here as a go with the flow girl. So just in case you're interested, what I have collected here for you as a lifestyle kind of pros and cons, let's get into it. Also, a little disclaimer, I definitely don't want to be offending anyone. I have tried to avoid any personal questions. I hope it just will be a fun video with maybe some interesting things that you haven't been really thinking about. So first things first that I want to say, the best thing that I have found out in Belgrade is people. People are great here. People are amazing. They're always helpful. Obviously, there are different people, as in many other countries and all of the countries actually, but most of the Serbians are really nice people who really want to help, who are really trying to get into your struggles and kind of figure it out. Also, an amazing thing to point is that Serbians do know languages. This is amazing. Something that I appreciate a lot, especially after living in Turkey, where people, except for Istanbul, they don't really know English, they don't really speak English. So here in Serbia, most of the people, they do speak English. I would say 85% of the people that I met, they spoke English, sometimes even better than I did. And that's amazing. That's very convenient. But for me personally, I loved when some of the people asked me if I speak Russian and if I can speak Russian to them. That was the most amazing thing that have happened to me, because with this being said, I realized how people enjoy some other people from different countries knowing their language, and me understanding that people abroad, they do speak Russian, they do want to speak Russian. To me was very, like, I appreciated it a lot, especially because it was sometimes even more helpful than speaking English. In terms of the first con, I would say expenses is something that I have definitely realized coming here, because when you are not in the European Union, you suppose that countries around will be a little bit cheaper, which I would say, like, overall, Serbia is definitely cheaper than most of the Europe, but the food expenses are big. And it's not only about me living in like pretty affordable countries before, it's even about people that I see on the streets struggling financially to buy food. So much that people actually try to find food in the trash. And this is something that just keeps you thinking, like, why the economical policy is not so covering of all the people, of even the people who are not making enough money. Because, for example, before, when I would go to most of the supermarkets in different countries, you can see that the supermarket has different ranges of products. So there are products affordable for everyone. They're usually not the best quality or not the best materials made of, but you can afford them. You can go and afford them. Even the homeless person who is asking for money out in the street would be able to afford it. However, coming here, I feel like it's just one range of products, which is like medium range of prices, and even something that is made out of cheaper materials will be almost the same amount of money as the medium range of products with good quality. So yes, this is something I don't understand, because sometimes even if we don't talk about food, if we talk about some other things that you would use day-to-day basis, if I would need to buy something here, maybe like even the small electronic device, something that I would use here and then I would not need it, I would love to go and find something affordable, even if it would be not the best quality, but at least I would know that I didn't put a lot of money into it, that I can let it go, I can leave it here, and I'll be good to go with it. Like, I'm not going to be trying to fit it into my suitcase because I have spent so much money on it. They don't have it here. I think because most of the imported things that they have here are pretty expensive because of the taxes. But also in terms of like cafes and restaurants, I would say that when you come to a new country and you start exploring the things, you kind of realize what is the medium price range for cafes and restaurants. And then when you see the online menus for the new places, you kind of just range them if they're above this medium price or if they're below this. And I would say that most of the restaurants and cafes, they might be totally different in terms of like service or the experience that you have in them. They can have kind of the same prices for food, which is not even the middle price range. It will be above it. Even McDonald's here is not very affordable. But this con is actually leading me to the pro, which is Serbian food. Serbian food and the amount of small little family places that they have here for food, or just little shops as well. They make amazing meat. I would say it's obviously not really cool because it's not very various in comparison to some other cuisines, but it's definitely very good quality and they do this amazingly. And most of the times, if I don't want to cook, I would rather go to this small little family place and get my pleskavica instead of going to order something online or go to the McDonald's or something like that, which is actually pretty interesting. Smoking is something I don't understand. Let me tell you, little did I know when I moved to Turkey that when I would move from Turkey to Serbia, I would realize that people in Turkey are not really smoking, because this is something that everyone says when you're going to Istanbul or any other regions in Turkey. People will say that Turkish people smoke a lot. No, they don't in comparison to Serbian people. I feel like even when I go somewhere like along the way, I still feel the smoke. Like somebody is smoking around me. Someone, especially what I hate the most is that when somebody is smoking in front of me, like walking along the street with me in front of me, and the person is smoking, obviously the whole smoke is going towards my face and my nose. This way, I either need to make distance or I need to go further to walk in front of this person so I wouldn't smell the smoke. And I actually would say that people who are not smoking have less priorities than people who are smoking, because you can smoke here in any cafe or restaurant, I feel like, because they either have terrace, which is obviously for smoking people because it's an outdoor space, but they also have these smoking areas inside of the cafes, and they do try to kind of make a border between the smoking area and non-smoking area, but the air conditioning system is the same. So even if you're sitting in a non-smoking area, still feel the smell of a smoke. If you are sensitive to smoke, if you're sensitive to just smoking in general, keep in mind you would probably be feeling the smell of the smoke all the time, because people are smoking everywhere, on the bus stops, in front of the like stores, even going along the street. I always see people smoking like at the front door or just walking along with me. I don't understand this. It's just it. You either accept it or not. The pro for a lot of like traveling people is that I find traveling from here is a lot easier. It's almost like traveling within the Europe when you travel without the borders. As a person who comes from the country where you need to take a long distance flights in order to get somewhere, I appreciate a lot that you don't pay that much. Don't pay that much money, you don't pay that much time of yours to get somewhere, because before living in St. Petersburg in Russia, which is partly close to Europe, I lived in like central part of Russia, and it only could take me like 2 to 3 hours to get to like Russian border to travel somewhere else. So usually, I don't know, like traveling to Dubai was like 6 hours or something. Last time I traveled from St. Petersburg to Istanbul, it was like 5 hours or something. And I do understand that people still take long hours to fly, like New York or Tokyo, people take a long time. But if you want to travel just like, to the closest countries that you are living around, that's so much cooler, because they have, I think they have flights almost everywhere right now here from Belgrade. So many people are coming here as well, which is very cool because you see people coming, which means that the country is open to travelers as well, which is cool. And if I would have a visa for Europe, I would definitely travel throughout those 8 months a lot. But unfortunately, I don't have a visa, so I just traveled around the countries that I could go to without the visa. But some of my friends have definitely took advantage of being in Belgrade, having European visas, and traveling for less expensive, less amount of time. And my last con today will be the fact that Belgrade is a spider town. I could never imagine Belgrade to be a spider town. I thought that this amount of spiders I could only meet somewhere in the tropicals. And I am terrified of spiders, first things first. Like, why is it a con for me? I am terrified of spiders. Not anymore, because I've met so many of them and I've killed so many of them that I'm not terrified of spiders anymore. But there was actually one time when we arrived from vacation and we haven't been home for a week, and we have found on the wall in front of us there was sitting a big spider that, just listen to me, cracked with his shell when we tried to kill him. He cracked, which means to me that that was some sort of like a dangerous spider, actually. I was screaming and running around. But the most terrifying thing I saw when I remember we were sitting at the shopping center on the terrace of some sort of restaurant, and I have seen the parapet of this shopping center, so basically the side of the building, and basically underneath this parapet, there has been an actual spider town, like a lot of spider webs. I think there's definitely a small spider village, maybe with hundreds of them in there, and you experience that till December actually. And still now I think I have a few of bathroom spiders that I cannot get rid of because they are the owners of this space, not me. They let me to live here. And I think going to any tropicals, I would definitely be a lot more tolerant to any spiders I'll see, not the big ones, and not the cracking ones as well. Like, that still drives me crazy when I remember it. So those were all of the pros and cons that I have found for myself for this 8 months of living here. I hope nobody got offended, especially spiders, because if they heard me, I'll be dead. I hope this video was helpful or at least interesting. Don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Give me a little like if you're not greedy, and I hope to see you in my next video.